Artistree is not worth your time. While you've seen other YouTubers sing the praises of this just because they're getting paid for it, the sad reality is it's just another failed art commissions platform that is losing you money. Welcome to Art Mentor. My name is Sean, and as somebody that's not sponsored by this nor any other competing platforms or programs, I'm going to tell you the hard truth that nobody else will tell you about Artistree, which is that it's going to ruin your art commissions. Now, if you've never heard of Artistree, I can definitely see why you'd be attracted to it, because as we take a look at it here, it looks like something that you really want to be a part of. Look, you get to keep 100% of your profits, which is wrong, but it claims that. They also plant trees every single time you make art. Wow, hippies and druids of the world unite! And then Artistree also integrates various things that you might want to do, like invoices, like in-app messaging and such, so that it's basically an all-in-one platform. And then the idea here is that you're able to go ahead and start your art business and to complete your art business with what seems like stress-free selling. Is that true? We're gonna find out. So as you go down and you look at all of these raving reviews about how amazing it is, right? And you're looking at all these benefits, you might be like, well, Sean, what's your problem with it? Well, it's time for us to dissect this and tell you why it sits on a throne of lies. So one of the major reasons why somebody would want to use Artistree is most likely for the security, or at least the illusion of security, for you selling your art commission. So let's take a look at this nifty little graph that they made for us. So here you can see Artistree versus Ko-Fi and versus Ko-Fi Gold as well. And here's what it basically shows you is just that you get everything from Artistree. So this does look like a no-brainer from the surface, doesn't it? But then when we really start to take a look at it, here's what I want you to know is that Artistree has two different versions of it. First off is everything happening in platform. And the second version is if you only use it for invoice. What I really want to draw your attention to is this one right down here in the bottom right corner, that if you are only using Artistree for invoices, it doesn't protect you at all. This is definitely the number one reason why I would say somebody would be attracted to this, because they do advertise themselves as a platform that will prevent you from being frauded, scammed, and then therefore PayPal initiating a chargeback. However, though, that's a lie if you're going to only use it for an invoice. Why is this bad? I'm gonna tell you why. Anytime that you are communicating with somebody, that you are attracting somebody from another platform to go to another platform, that is usually not going to work out well for you. And that's another big sell. Like, not only do you have to sell your artwork, but now you have to sell them on why they have to use a particular platform, which, by the way, only benefits you and not them whatsoever. In my experience, after doing this for over a decade, that's a really hard sell and you have to do it twice. But then you might be asking yourself, well, Sean, I still want to use it. So is there any benefit to it? Well, let's take a look at that. Another really big staple of Artistree tends to be this graph right here. And this essentially shows you what you can expect by using Artistree versus other art platforms. So yeah, I use Fiverr, Ko-Fi, PayPal. They do take a cut of that. And here what they show you is that Artistree, in fact, charges the client a fee rather than taking it out of you. But that's kind of a lie. Check out why. Down in their FAQs, it lets you know that, yeah, Artistree does charge the client 6.5%. But here's the real kicker, and the real thing I want to focus you in on, is that, check this out, if the price is less than $100, you will also have that client charge an extra $2.60 USD. So you are now having to go ahead and convince the client to not only agree to your current pricing, which you want to charge them, but you also have to convince them to go ahead and pay more. And why? Just so that it benefits you? So now you're probably thinking, okay, well, Sean, no problem. All I have to do is charge at least $100, right? And that's definitely what they will make themselves out to appear like they want to encourage it. Because when you get down to their FAQ on setting prices, they tell you to charge a fair hourly rate. And they even tell you here that if you work for 10 hours, you should charge at least $10 an hour, and thus giving you about $100. But let's really take a critical look at this. Is this actually what's happening? Are artists actually getting fair and decent wages like they proclaim that they want to have happen? Now, one of the newest features of Artistree is its marketplace. Sounds great, right? But let's see who that is attracting. So right here at the top of Artistree, every single day, you're gonna see the most trending topics for art commissions people are searching for. Now look, that seems great, but let's take a hard look at why those ones are there and why they're the most popular. So the day that I happened to do this and record this video, they were anime commissions, bust commissions, flat color commissions, and illustrations. Let's check out what people are getting on here. I want you to go ahead and pay attention on these anime commissions to What is the median price? What are people generally charging here? There's a few outliers here and there, but like seriously take a look at this. Everything is generally somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 to $50. Now take a look at bust. Let's see if we see anything different here. Okay, so we have a general price tag starting at around $20. The more that we go down here, the more that we go down in price for the most part. Then we go to flat colors. Let's see if we do any better here. So we're starting at around $10, $20, $35, $45 around here. Now you might think, oh, big time illustrations, this must do wonderful, right? Well, let's check that here. But generally look at the actual prices. Look at what people are trying to get and trying to fetch for themselves here. So here is a major critical flaw for you to know about Artistree is that it only attracts the cheapest of clients. And again, those cheap clients, what do you have to do? You have to charge them more money? Why? They're not going to want to pay more money. Why? Because this is the main reason they even use the freaking platform is because they want to get as cheap as possible because they know that they have to pay the fee, plus they have to pay an additional fee. So why wouldn't you instead just use PayPal or use Squarespace or use another similar platform where you could just, I don't know, add on $5 to $10? Wouldn't that be crazy? Instead of $70, charge $80. But guess what? That's what Artistree wants to do for you. Only get you the cheapies. Now, if you appreciate action-based things that you can do starting right now after you watch this video, then definitely please consider liking and subscribing to my channel because I'm all about empowering you to live the life that you actually want to and earn what you actually deserve to. Wouldn't that be nice, right? But in the meantime, please enjoy me making Swiss cheese out of this awful art commissions platform. Another issue that I recognize with this website is that it's forcing artists to do things that don't work for anybody. Check this out. So here we're going to take a look at Kayenta, and I'm not going to rip apart anybody here to make them feel bad, but I just want to point this out so that you don't do this, whether it's on Artistree or off Artistree. But go ahead and let's take a look at what they're offering here. They're offering a portrait black and white for $5 to $30, portrait colored for $20 to $80, full body $60 to $120, and then full body black and white $30 to $100, and then illustration full page $80 to $120, character designs at $100 to $150. And then we go down to your 2D animations. Whoa, wait a minute here. That's not even in the same ballpark as your 2D artwork. The major issue that this type of platform and any type of platform that does this creates is that it really creates a lot of client confusion. They don't know what to expect from you. They don't know what you're able to produce, and you cannot put it on the client to guess and assume that you're going to be able to do exactly what you say you're going to do because you are not producing the examples and you're not presenting in such a way that's going to instill confidence into them. And that is why somebody would buy from you versus somebody else, is because they see enough visual evidence to suggest that they have confidence in that person. But this platform, Artistree, they're not doing anybody any favors. Now, aside from those unfocused efforts, another critical flaw in this type of system is that you're basically going to detract people from wanting to pay what you actually want them to pay because of how you're setting your prices. Check this out. So when you go ahead and you set up your entire Artistree page, you're forced to go ahead and set some type of a range. Now, you do have to agree with this with the client on what that final price tag is. But what I typically see a lot of is people creating really, really large ranges. In doing this, you're actually handicapping yourself, and I'm going to explain to you why. So as I go through the fantasy section here, I come upon this person that can do a really cool Dungeon Dragon fantasy character and only charges starting at $30. But here's a problem. $30 to $100 is a very big gap. And this establishes what's called an anchoring effect, where if you see the lowest price tag, that's gonna be your anchor. And the bigger of a gap that you produce there, the less likely it is somebody is gonna pay it. Again, taking a look at all of these, let's go ahead and take a look at this person's right here, this lovely elf lady, and let's see what we got here. So when you take a look at the full body, look at this range here, y'all. $350 to $1,500? The person is clearly wanting $1,500 for that, but they're also putting this into a category that starts at $350. So even if your rock bottom price, even if this was the most stupidest, simplest character, right? And you wanted $1,000, well, if that person who's interested in this is only willing and able to charge $500, that's not in your ballpark, is it, my friend? But why? Because you gave them the anchor to latch onto. That's your fault. And then it gets worse too. So as I go for this full body concept art, check this out, $120 to $460. This is not the same type of client. Y'all just imagine this. If you were gonna go car shopping, would you in the same day look at a Toyota and then look at a Mercedes-Benz? No. So why would you expect your clients to be able to cough up that extra cash if that's not even in their ballpark? Why? Because you've created the anchor effect. You've created a reference point for them. And by doing that, you're actually losing yourself a ton of money. Now, if you're just new and getting started in art commissions, if you're trying to grow your art commissions, I'm gonna tell you this straight up, is that you cannot offer every single thing under the sun and expect yourself to be the Walmart of artists. And let me show you why Artistree encourages this and why nobody really ever does anything about it. So let's take a look at, first off, Tiago Santos. Let's take a look at what you're offering here. You're offering stylized characters, artistic characters, very cool. And then look at all your illustrations. And then you can also do game art too, right? So here's a big major problem with this though. If I'm a client and I'm looking at this, I have no idea what to expect from you, okay? Here, let's take a look at Galactic, who's offering headshots, who does Pokemon full bodies, who does half bodies of an Encanto-esque character, and then full-blown illustrations of sci-fi. These are not the same thing. You cannot ever get clients to just look at you and be like, oh cool, they can do everything. That's not how people work. And then look at this, then we get down to here, miscellaneous. Like, if that isn't just proof of everything I'm talking about right now, I don't know what is, because what the crap is miscellaneous? Why would you even put that down? This is just gonna set you up for failure and burnout, my friend. Please don't do this. But we're not done yet though too, because there are loads of other issues that I see prevalent in this site all the time. First off, I'm just gonna start with this. When they talk about extras, and this really sets me on fire because it's totally unfounded. So it says, Artistree does not use the commission's extras to calculate the price of a commission for you because that's something you have to agree upon with your client. And they also state that they're only allowed 6 extras. Now imagine this, y'all. Imagine that you were sitting across from somebody on a date and you were only allowed to ask them 6 questions before you went ahead and you committed to them for the rest of your life. Does that sound like a really great relationship to you? Because it doesn't to me. Now, all the issues that I've pointed out here just relate to the fact that there are too many people that are going to flock to platforms like this, like Artistree, because I want to devolve the art commission process into just some simple robotic process. And y'all, hear me out on this one, because I've been mentoring people on this for years, but you cannot and you will not go very far in your art career if you don't want to interact with people. And once you start to interact with people, this is how you are going to succeed. Now, let's say that so far you're still 100% ride or die, like you 100% definitely want to stick with this platform, okay? So I want to give you some best practices that I would advise if you were to continue on this platform. Here we go. First off, you need to specialize. Just do one thing really, really well. So you just need to go ahead, just like I'm showing you right here, and check out this person. They only do fantasy art, and that's the way to do it. Number 2 is you definitely need to just throw away all of those junk cheap commissions that you're trying to get. Get out your line art, get out your flats, get out your sketches. Nobody wants them. And to be honest with you, here's the mindset I want you to adopt instead, friend. If it doesn't help your portfolio, if it's not gonna help net you more clients, especially higher paying clients, then just dump it, because it's not worth your time, because it's certainly not worth your wallet either. Next, make sure that you're breaking these down more. As I've gone through multiple sheets on this site, I just don't see anybody doing this well. So like, for example, what I would do is I would make sure that I do a bust, and then a separate one, bust with a background. Half body with a background. Character with a background. It will make it so much easier for you. The other version of this that you could do is instead just give yourself a much smaller gap in your pricing, okay? So just don't do more than $100. It just doesn't make sense. If you have to charge somewhere in the neighborhood of like $500 to $1,000, break that down. Just keep them separate, okay? The other thing I would recommend is if you feel the need to detail every single little extra, y'all, you can't do that. So the best thing that you should do instead is just max everything out at your top level pricing for it. Like for example, if your pricing was before somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 to $300, start at $200, and then it's all taken care of. And no matter what, if you got a semi-complex character, you're good. If you get a really complex character, then there's a reasonable room for negotiation in there. See how that works? And then lastly, you have to just pick with one style. Like for example, if you do semi-realism, just do that. Get rid of your anime, get rid of anything that does not relate to that. If you only do really stylized artwork, get rid of your realism artwork, get rid of your realistic portrait, get rid of your pet portraits. If it doesn't show that style, it doesn't attract the right client. What you want to do is provide one major thing for a client whenever you're going to use this site, or if you want to use the tactics that I teach you, plenty of links down below on how this works, by the way, and it's much better, by the way, then you just want to instill confidence in them. The way you instill confidence in them is by showing them the type of work that they want, by showing them the genre, and by showing them the style that they're looking for. Those 3 things, that's all they want. And that is why they're going to pick you over somebody else. not you just appearing desperate. See how that works? Now, really, when we take a look at why Artistree is what it is and why it functions the way it does, it's because it is part of a larger systemic group of issues that plague so many other art-based platforms, which I'm going to tell you all about right here. And these are all the places that you should never go for art commissions. And if you are, start to get off of them. Learn why.